Hello, beautiful people. You are welcome to this tutorial as I will be taking you through the detailed process of how to get this beautiful Ankara shorts and shirts. It is the latest, and I'm going to give you the quick and the easiest method of getting it. Please stay by. Appreciate those that have been following us for some time now. Without you, we won't be here. Thank you for the encouragement. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for standing by. I'm really, really grateful. All right, so for our tutorial today, we'll be learning how to make these shorts, Ankara shorts, and then shirts. So to start with, this is our shorts we are about to cut now. We are drafting our short first. So our shorts, we are making 20 inches as our length. The short is 20 inches. So here I'll mark out the length here, and I added half-inch sewing allowance. This is half-inch sewing allowance. So now to measure our 20 inches, I'll place the through 20 inches because it's going to have a band and side elastic. So I'll be removing 1.5 inches from the length. Yeah, so which means my starting point will be on 1.5 inch. So this 1.5 inch I'm subtracting will be for the band. It will be for the band. So you mark out 1.5. Sorry, I'll remove 1.5 inches, right? And also I will add my sewing allowance of half-inch. Okay, then I'll rule it. I just hope you are seeing the lines. All right, these are 1.5 inch, and I added sewing allowance of 0.5 inches. So this is our sewing allowance at the upside, and this is our sewing allowance at the downside. All right. Okay, so let us proceed now. Let's mark out our lines. Okay, so we are going to be measuring the hip line. This is the waistline. The hip line is 9 inches. So I'll mark it out. Then we'll go ahead and mark out our crotch length. Remember to put your tape on 1.5 inch. Our crotch length is hip divided by 4. Then I usually remove 1 inches from it. So round hip is 46 inches divided by 4. We have 11 and a half. 11 and a half, then minus 1, that is 10 and a half. That will be our crotch length. So I'll mark out 10 and a half here. So this is the crotch length. Okay. So now we'll start our circumference measurement. Round hip, round waist. You're supposed to measure round waist, but because it's going to have an elastic, so I'll rather use. You are going to be using your hip at the waistline, so it is the elastic that will shrink it. Okay. So which means we'll come to our hip line. These are hip line. Hip divided by 4 is 11 and a half. Okay. 11 and a half, which I'll be adding here. 11 and a half. This is 11 and a half. First and foremost, before I confirm this measurement, I'll need to measure half-inch here for ease at the side because of the sewing allowance I'll be adding around the side. So let me quickly roll out that. Okay, so I can now mark out my 11 and a half. That is hip divided by 4. Round hip divided by 4, that which is 11 and a half. So we have our 11 and a half here. So I'll come to the waist also and mark out the same thing. 11 and a half here too. So I'll connect the 2 points to the crotch length. Okay. So now I'll have to measure my round tie. That's on this crotch length, this crotch line. I'll have to measure my round tie here. So the round tie is 30 inches divided by 2 is 15 inches. Okay, so I'll measure 15 inches here. That is one. Another method to get this place, this your crotch line is also to follow your crotch line. This line we ruled here. Just add 2.5 inches or 3 inches depending on how fat the person is. Okay, so just add it. But I prefer using my round tie measurement here. So my round tie is 30 inches divided by 2. That's 15 inches. Okay. So which means I'll have to connect this like this, or you can use your ruler. But I prefer using my hand here for now to get the curve. Okay, so after you have marked out your round tie here, which is 15 inches, we mark, right? So we'll be dividing this by 2. To get the center, we'll have to get the center of this line so that we can proceed from there. All right, so the center is going to be 7.5. All right, so you come down here too and measure the same thing to get our gray line, but you can call it Taylor's line. So if you check what we have here, you can see we have 7.5 here, and this here too we must also be 7.5. So this is our center point. This is our center point. All right. So at this point, you now come down to don't mind this line yet. Please don't mind it. You come down to your end line and you place your measurements. So I'm making use of my knee measurement, which is 20 21 inches. 21 inches divided by 2, that is 10.5. So for ease, because I don't want it too tight around the knee, so I can add 2 inches. All right, so that would be 12 and a half, right? 12 and a half. So that 12 and a half, we will be dividing it on both sides, which means this side will be taking 6.25, while this side will also be taking 6.25. So you have it like this. 6.25. This is 6.25 here. Then you come to this side too and measure 6.25. This 6.25. All right, so you come here, connect it. I don't know if you are seeing it. I've exhausted my white chalk, so please bear with me. All right, so this is our line. Please don't mind this, like I said. This is our line. All right, so you come to this side and connect it. Remember, we mark our 6.25 inches to be here. You have to connect it from your knee and from your hip line, here down to this place. All right. So here we have it. Here we have it. So at this point, you go ahead and add your half-inch sewing allowance on both sides. This side, and on this side. So I'll add my half-inch sewing allowance. That's why this place we need a bit a space here. All right. So you come here too and add your half-inch sewing allowance. You add it on this side as well. We will come down here by half-inch. I forgot to do that. By half-inch, okay? And you slant it downward. Just come down by half-inch at the center front. So go ahead and cut. So this is what we are having. And we're going to be using this to cut our back. For the back, this is what you'll be doing. Place your front on it. Okay. Then you come to this side, to this sharp point, and you extend it by 2.5 or 3 inches. This also depends on how um how fat the person is. Okay. So for this, I'll be measuring, making use of 2.5 inches. That is starting not on the sewing allowance. I'm not calculating the sewing allowance with it. So I'll place my tape rule on the exact line. Then I'll mark out my 2.5 inches. Okay, 2.5 inches. So we have the 2.5 inches here. Then also you rule it out this way. This is the exact point. This is the exact point. This is the exact line. But you need to come down by half inch here. All right. So, which means we are moving this line to this place. We are not using this one. You come down by half inch. This is the line for the back now. All right. So you connect this point, sharp point, down. Hope you can see that down to this half inch we came down on. Okay. Then after that, you at this point, remember we had that 2.5 inch here. Here you come down to this side. You come down a bit and mark out um 1.5 inch. Then here you mark out 1 inch and you connect it. So you're going to be having, let me use my hand, or better still, you're going to be having something like this. So this is what we are having. Now, you now come up here. Whatever you use as your crotch width, this is our crotch width. From here to here is our crotch width, which is 3 inches, wages of 3 inches. Whatever you measure, then minus half inch is 2.5. So you are supposed to measure 2.5 inches here. But because I have limited material, I'm going to be reducing it to 1.5. It will still work. All right. So before we mark that out, you go up here by 3 inches. You come here up here by 3 inches. These are 3 inches. These are 3 inches. Then you mark out the line as well. You first of all get your, I align it with this line, okay? But we are not going to be making use of it. I just need to do this so that you understand. So when you have marked out this L shape, then like I said, we are supposed to measure, we have 3 inches as our crotch width minus half 2.5. But I'm going to be making use of 1.5 because of limited material I have. And I told you it will still work. Okay, so let us now measure one. Okay, let me make it 2 inches. I'll measure 2 inches. So, which means I'm not going to, this is now our new line. We won't be making use of this again. So it is this new line, this very new line, which means I went in by 2.5 inches. This new line is what I will now connect down to this point, to this line. So you find a way. So I'm going to fold it a bit like this so that I can connect it. Hope you get the logic there. Okay, so once it's out here, then it can align around this curve here. All right. So this is it. So this is our new line. This is our new curve for the back. Then the 2.2 inches we came in at this side, you come here and replace it. So we have our 2 inch exactly here. Okay, so I'll now, from this point, I'll slant it down. So I'll slant it down to this point. right? Then you connect it to the hip line here. This is the hip line. This is the hip line here. So we are going to connect this here. So at this point, we can go ahead and cut. You can watch as I cut in case you don't understand it or you're not seeing the line clearly. So if you notice, I did not add sewing allowance to the back because it has been added to the front already. So everything is calculated together already. And this is what we have. Look at where we have all the places we added up. On this side, this side must protrude, this side must protrude, likewise this side must protrude. All right. So we'll go ahead to sew. For the band, remember we subtract 1.5 inch for the band. Okay. So because the band is going to be on fold, so that will be 1.5 inch times 2, 3 inches. 3 inches now plus 1 inch sewing allowance, that is 4 inches. So we'll be needing 4 inches. 4 inches for the band. So you mark out your 4 inches in width. In width, I'm talking about the width, not the length. And also for you to know the length, remember we made use of our round hip, not our round waist, because of the elastic we'll be imputing. So for the band, we also be making use of our round width. A round hip, it is the elastic that will shrink it. So round hip is 45. I folded the material into 2. 45 divided by 2 is 20, 22 and a half. Sorry, round hip is 46. Divided by 2, that's 23. So I have less than 23 here. I'm going to be adding up to complete it. But for now, let's cut out this. So for the M line, remember it was half inch we left for the hemming line for the down part of our short. So I use half inch because it's going to be a turn up. All right, so I'll be using this to turn it up. I'll stitch it with the half inch sewing allowance and turn it up. All right, so I'll show us as we proceed. In width, we are going to be sewing. This is the back, so I'll join it here. I won't join this side. I'm joining it here. I will also the same thing for the. Sorry, this is the back. Why this is the front? So we are going to be joining this way, and also this one this way. This is the way it looks. So after stitching it, this is the back. Why this is the front? So you place it on each other. Place it on each other. Then you go ahead and you join the middle here, middle of the front and middle of the back. You are going to stitch it this way. Start your stitch. Make sure you start your stitch from the center, and make sure you also open up your sewing allowance. We open it up before stitching, like this. Then you stitch from center downward to on the side. All right. Then you also come to the side and stitch. You join them on the side and on the other side as well. I've stitched it. All right. So now, in case you did not get the turnover I was talking earlier, I was speaking about earlier. All right. So this is what I'm trying to say. At this point, I want to stitch the M line. All right. So to stitch the M line, like I said, it's going to be a turn up. It's going to be a turn up. All right, so this is it. So that I can turn the M line, I have to loosen the center, this side a bit at the hem line. I loosen a bit. Okay, I loosen it a bit. All right. So this is the wrong side. So what I'll be doing now is I'm going to be stitching it this way. This is the right side. So I'll stitch half inch round. Then when I'm done, I'll turn it over, fold it, and top stitch. So here we have it. I've done one side of it, but I still feel like explaining it to you again. You can see I've turned it to the right side and look at the way it comes out. By the time I turn it up, I make sure I leave like quarter inch so it won't show there's a join in there. Okay, so and this is what we are having. All right, I'm yet to complete the joining here. All right, so for the second leg, it's still the same thing, but I feel like explaining it again. All right, when you turn up your short, you turn it to the right side like this. Okay, you can see I open it up a bit. Then this is what I'll use to turn up. I added interfacing. I've added interfacing to it. You can see it. And like I said, this is 3.5 inches. 3.5 inches. All right. So this is what how I did it. Remember, by the time you turn it up, here should be it should align with this one. Right side should be facing up, right side should be facing up. Okay, so this is what you'll be doing. So which means when you want to stitch it, this is it. This has to go back. So it means your right side of the turn up will be facing the wrong side of the Ankara, okay, of the short, I mean. So this is how you are going to be stitching it half inch all the way round, all the way round. So this is how you are going to be stitching it. So by the time you are done stitching, by the time you turn it up, like this, then you fold like half inch inside to top stitch. Then you top stitch. Hope you understand it this time. So this is what we are having. This is the back, while this is the front. So I'm done doing the turn up. All right, so at this point we'll move to the waist. So if you check the waist, I told you it's going to have a band. So I have attached the band, one side of the band. Like I told you, I used a waist of the band of, I cut a band of 4 inches. So this is what we are having here. So I have to, you first of all sew one side of it. This is it. You can see that. So what is next for me to do is to top stitch. And how do we stop stitch? You can see after attaching one side of it, you fold it this way. You fold it in half. Then you fold in your half inch this way. Half inch. Fold it in half and place it on top of your former stitch. Then you top stitch. But before we do that, how do we fix our elastic? Now for the elastic, this is the center front. You get the center front and the center back. All right. So this is the center here. I'm going to use my bust span measurement. I'll be using my bust span measurement, which is 8. 8 divided by 2, that's 4. So from the center here, this is where the stitch is. So from the center here, I'm going to measure 4 inches this way, backward. 4 inches backward, I'll mark it. And then 4 inches to the other side as well. 4 inches to the right, 4 inches to the left. And you mark it. All right. So where we just mark now, that is where altogether we'll be having 8 inches. That is where we will not be fixed. That's where it will be plain. No elastic there. So now, we've taken 4 inches. For you to understand, this is the center front. Measure it to the side. Altogether, I have, to the side, we have 11.5 inches. This is 11.5 inches. And remember, we have already removed 4 inches from it. So we are going to be left with 5.5 inches. Okay? So now, 5.5 inches will be at the front, 5.5 inches will be at the back. That is 11 inches. On this side too, it will also be 11 inches. Now, to get your elastic, what will you cut on your elastic? So we have 11 inches. 11 inches, you subtract 5 inches from it. So we'll be left with 6.5 inches. So it means the length of your elastic will have to be 6.5 inches. And you're going to be cutting 2 of it. You are going to be cutting 2 of it. So one will be on this side, one will be on this side. Now let us fix it. This is the center, and this is my elastic. You can see from the bust band of the front, I attach it, I stitch it down on the band to the bust band of the back. You can see the elastic in between here. So by the time I'm stitching it, this is it. By the time I'm stitching it, I'll stretch it this way so that I can top stitch at the end of the day. So I can top stitch like this. Hope you see that now. So that's how I'm going to top stitch round. This is what we'll be having. Look at the side elastic. Look at the side elastic here too. So this is what you'll be having. Please don't forget to add interfacing to this band before you fix. I'll be using this net for the shirts. So we go ahead and fold it into two. I'll fold it into two. Now, the biggest circumference measurement is 46, sorry, 45 inches. So that is what we'll be using to fold this material. So 45 inches divided by 4, we have 11, 11 and quarter. Okay. So plus our sewing allowance of half inch, that will be 11 3 quarter. So let's just round it up to 12 inches. So once we are able to get 12, then we are good to go. So we have 12 here. So this is our 12. This is all what we'll be needing for to fold for the for this is the back. We are going to draft the back now. Okay, so because of the color of the net, I won't be able to mark that long as I'm marking and cutting so that I won't miss out on whatever I'm marking. So let's start with our length. I'm working with length of 24 inches. Length of 24 inches, then plus 1 inch sewing allowance. So that's 25 inches. So this is going to be 25 inches. Sorry, you may not see it, but please just move along with me because this chalk, let me try this. It may not be visible because the color of the fabric we are working on is very thick. All right, but still, let me cut it straight ahead. So this is 25 inches, then plus half inch sewing allowance. I'm adding the half inch already. Okay, so this is our length now. Please bear with me that I'll be cutting straight ahead because of the color of this fabric. Okay, so then we move to our neck. I'm working with neck width of 3 inches. Neck width of 3 inches. Then neck length. This is the back. So I'm working with neck length of 1.5 inch. 1.5 inch. So I have to use my hand to hold the place. So this is the width and this is the length. So I'll go ahead and all right. So because of the sewing allowance I added here, so I'm going to be removing half inch more. So it is still 1.5 inch. It's because we already have sewing allowance added here already. Okay. So then I'll mark out my shoulder. Remember we have neck width of 3 inches. So it's going to be on 3 inches. Then the shoulder of 15 inches. 15 inches divided by 2 is 7.5. 7.5 plus half inch sewing allowance. 8 inches. So we have our 8 inches here. Okay. So which means I'll be going down by 1 inch. So I'll go down by 1 inch. Then I'll add my sewing allowance of half inch back to it. So I'll go ahead and cut. All right. Hope you are following. Then we go to our armhole. Whatever we mark here is what I'll be marking here. So I measured 7.5 inch here. So I'll measure the same 7.5 inch at this point. So to make it straight, so I'll go ahead and cut. All right, so we'll go to the to our waistline. Our waistline is 16 inches. So these are 16 inches here. When I'm measuring, I leave my half inch sewing allowance at the top here. So 16 inches. This is our waistline. So that will measure the round waist. We are working with round waist of 40 inches, so which is 10 inch. That's divided by 4, 10 inch. Plus half inch sewing allowance, that is 10 and half. So we have it here. Then we come to the M line. We are working with round hip of 45 inches divided by 4, that is 11 and quarter, plus 1 plus half inch, that is 11 3/4. So I'll go ahead and cut. Then before then, I'll calculate my round arm O. I'm working with round arm O of 20 inches, that's 10 inches plus half inch, 10 and half. So I'll go ahead and cut. There is no need for that. It takes wisdom to work with a fabric of very dark color like this. So at the M line here, at the M line, I will be curving it a bit if I so wish. If not, you can just leave it straight. But I'll have to curve mine a bit, just a bit. Okay. So this is what we've just drafted. I'm going to use this to cut out the front. I folded my fabric into two. I folded it into two. Okay. So we'll be using the back to cut the front. And if you notice, the front is a bit shorter. Okay. I'm using the Ankara fabric to complete the front at the top here. That is why this one is shorter. So I'll be adding Ankara later on. But first, let us cut out this net. So to cut out the front, we need to let there be excess at the center front for the overlapping. So I need to place it properly. So for the overlapping, we'll be letting there be an excess of 1 inch. Okay, so you can see the excess here of 1 inch. Here is it. We have excess of 1 inch here. Let me also, I need to adjust here properly. Okay, so we have it. All right, so we have 1 inch here. This is the excess of 1 inch. So I'll go ahead and cut it. After that, I'll add up the Ankara fabric. Okay, so at this point, before I continue, I need to go and join my Ankara fabric here. So I have cut it, I've joined it. You can see where I joined it here, and I top stitch it. So I'll now lay my back on it again. I'll need to set it properly, then I'll lay my back on it. So make sure all edges align. All edges must align. Then also remember we are expected to have excess here. So this is it. After laying it properly, okay. So first and foremost, you straighten this lace. Then you remember you came down by 1.5 inch at the back. So for the front now, We are doing 3.5 inch. 3.5 inch. So I'll be connecting it. Here is it. So this is our front. Then you go ahead and trim every other side. All right, so we are done using our back. So after cutting the front, you can now open it up. This is what you'll be having. So look at this stripe. So I'll be using this to tape the the middle this way, the side, the center front this way. This is 3 inches. If you so wish, you can make yours 4 inches. 4 inches or 5 inches, but I guess you shouldn't be more than 5 inches. It depends on how wide you want it. So I'll be using it to tape it this way. Just put it inside, then you top stitch. You fold this side 1/2 inch, and this other side too. You fold it 1/2 inch, just like this. So this will be in between. So this will be in between. Then you top stitch. That is how you do both stripe. Okay. After stitching it, this is what we are having. So at this point, we'll go ahead and stitch the side. So later on, this is where it will now lap. Okay. All right. So to continue, we'll take our back. I need to remove every pin on it. Okay. So we have our back. Then we'll go ahead and stitch, join them on the side and on the shoulder. You join it on the shoulder and on the side. The same with this side as well. You join them on the shoulder and on the side. This is the joining at the side and also at the shoulder. Okay, so what is left for us is to add our sleeve. So at this point, I'll be adding my sleeve now. So this is our sleeve. I'll be adding the sleeve to it. Then after adding the sleeve, we'll now cut out our collar here. So to fix up your sleeve, remember you have your sleeve this way. You have it this way. So what you'll be doing is right side will be facing right side. So you start from the armpit here. Make sure it aligns. If sewing allowance, it aligns. Okay. So you come to the wrong side, holding the two together. So you start stitching. So, but what is most important is let your sewing allowance of the shirt and of the sleeve aligns at the armpit, and also make sure that the center of your sleeve also aligns with the shoulder of the shirt. That is how to fix your sleeve. I've joined the sleeve. This is what we have, and also I've also fixed um my my buttons. This is the button hole. So I fixed my buttons. So the next thing we'll be doing is to fix our collar, and we're going to be doing something like a bishop collar. Okay, so to do our bishop collar, what we'll need to do first is to first of all take the measurement of the neck round. So you measure it this way. Just measure what you have on your neck, all round. You measure it this way so that you will know the exact measurement you are working on, or the exact measurement you cut out. Okay, so after measuring it, I have 23 and half, 23 and half as the measurement. Okay, so this is how we are going to be drafting it. This is how we are going to be cutting it. So what you need to do, the way I used to cut mine, put your paper on fold like this. Okay, so you get, just form a perfect cycle first of all. So I can start with, let me measure 5 all round, 5 inch all round. I just need to get a perfect circle first. Okay, so you can pick the number you want, as long as it's going to be long enough to go around to the neck. That is the idea behind the number. All right, so I measured 5 inch all round. So I'll be connecting it this way. So what we are doing, we are cutting here first is the half. Remember the circumference of the neck is 23 and half, right? So we are going to be doing half of it because we are going to be doing half of it, and we have folded our paper, our pattern paper into two. So which means whatever we are drafting here is the quarter of the neckline. So we have the quarter of 23 and half. Let's just assume it's 24. The quarter of it is 6 inches. Okay, 6 inches. So what we are working on here is 6 inches. Now, since we've gotten a perfect circle, we then go to the length of the bishop collar. How long or how tall did you want the neck to be? Okay, so I'm working with 1.5 inches. I want it to be, sorry, I want it to be 1.25 inches tall. So after 1.25, I'll be adding half-inch sewing allowance to it, to make it 1.75. So all the lengths together will be, the height I mean will be 1.75. So that is what I will measure here, 1.75. So if you get the idea, you notice we are only cutting it in form of a flare, and it's going to fit in for the neck because the shape of our neck is round. Okay, so this is it. So here we have it. Now we'll go back to the quarter we are working with, the quarter of our neck, which is 6 inches, like we said. 6 inches. You measure the line, the biggest circle, the one down. Measure your 6 inches. Okay, this is our 6 inches here. Then I'll be adding half-inch sewing allowance. That will give us 6.5 inch. Hope we get that. 6.5 inch. Now, this is where our 6.5 inch is. So which means you can straighten up your line. Then you at the edge here, make a curve. You make a curve. So this is the quarter of what we are working with. I'm going to be cutting it out now. Please, let's not forget, I added half-inch sewing allowance at the downside. At the top side as well, we are supposed to add half-inch sewing allowance because we are going to be joining it. So I'll add the half-inch sewing allowance I'm supposed to add. So this is what we are having. This is what we are having. So by the time I stretch it, this is going to be the front. All right. So we are going to be having the front to be this way. Hope we get it. The front will be this way. So for the back, you are still going to use this same thing to cut out the back. So this is it. You can see it is still the same thing, but it is also on fold. This one is on fold. Okay. So it's the same thing. The only difference is that the half-inch I added here for the sewing allowance here, I removed it. So the back is straight. It's not curved like the front. It doesn't have a curvy shape as the front, but it's the same thing. The only difference is the length, which is reduced by 0.5 inch, and also it's straight, not curved. That is it. So what then will you now do? You open up the back. So this is going to be our front. Why this is the back? It's not giving you the shape now, but for you to see it properly and also to cut it out, this is what you'll be doing. I'll make sure they align well properly. Then I will put my paper marks on it, my marking tape on it, as it is now. Also this side. Make sure it doesn't lap. All right. Now I'll also be holding it. I want to make sure it's sitting properly. Okay. So I'll also be adding it at the back to hold it in place. All right. So you can see around here, it's not well fixed. You trim it out. Okay. So this is what we are having. By the time you join it, this is what you'll be having. This is how the neck will be sitting when you are done. You can see the shape we are having already. So this is how the neck will be sitting when you are done. You can see that. So now we have to join it so that we will be able to cut it straight the way it is now. So once we have joined the back, the front to the back, the next thing is for us to place it on our fabric. Let's assume this is the fabric I'm using. Okay, I'll just place it on it just this way, and I'll cut it out. I'll trim it out, and I'm going to cut two of this. I'm going to cut two of this. One will be for the lining, and one will be for the front material. Hope we get that. And also, let's not also forget to check our measurements before we cut. Remember, it's 23 and half inch plus half inch sewing allowance for both sides. That's going to give us 24 and half inch. So you make sure you confirm your measurement before you go ahead and cut. So I have SS. It's good that as I have SS here. By the time I want to stitch, I'll trim off half inch from this side, half inch from this side. And this is what I mean. I'll be trimming it off this way. All right. So that our trimming will be perfect. So I'll go ahead and trim now. Before I trim, let me reconfirm. Half of 23 and half, 24 and half inch. We are supposed to be having 12 and quarter. 12 and quarter. All right. So I'm done trimming it off. So I'll go ahead and cut. I'll place it on my fabric like this and I'll cut. Okay. This is it. So I cut out two of it. This is it. I cut out two of it and I joined the two of them. This is one and this is one. I joined the two of them at the top here, at the top. All right. So at the down part of it, I folded half inch, which I'm going to use for the sewing allowance to join it to the shirt's neckline. All right. So I folded it with an iron. Remember to add gum stay to yours or any interfacing of your choice. But for this one, I added gum stay. Okay. So after I've stitched it and I notch it, then we'll turn it inside out like this. So after turning it inside out, this is what you'll be having. Remember to fold in your sewing allowance. I folded it in like this. So this is it. By the time you fix it, you'll be having a perfect neckline. This is going to be the front, the center front. You can see it. So, but let's go ahead and stitch it. We have two ways to attach it. You can go ahead and just fix in your shirt neckline in the middle and top stitch it round, or you first of all, which is what I'm going to do, you first of all stitch one side of it round, you attach it to the neckline, then you now fold the second part of it. You fold your half inch sewing allowance and top stitch. So it's going to be two stitching around the neck. So this is the method I'll be using. So here is what I'm talking about. I've stitched one side of it for the neck all round. You can see that. Okay, so now I'm about to top stitch with the second side of it. Okay, so this is it. You fold your first stitch in the edge. You start from the edge, fold your half inch in. So once you fold your half inch in, then we'll go ahead and top stitch like that. You continue to put this one in, fold this one on top of it, and top stitch on a very straight line. Wow, what a beautiful result we have here. Look at how nice and unique it is. So why have you not subscribed? Kindly click on that subscription button now. Just a click, please. Thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe. I would like to see you in my next tutorial. Don't miss it.